Hello! This video is going to be a little bit different than normal. I have a lot of footage from the past 2 weeks that I wanted to get put together and get on the channel, but I did not do a lot of talking or explaining or narrating as to what exactly was going on. So instead of just having video after video of pass and testing, I'm going to interject here and there. So let's just get started. We have managed to get the Chevy back up and running. So these first sets of clips are going to be from the testing night that we went out to Windy Hollow with John and Danny, and John spent a lot of time with Drew working on trying to get this tune lined out since we have switched everything over to E85. I think it was pretty successful. We ran out of time. It was insanely hot, and they closed the track down about an hour earlier than normal, and I think we got started about an hour later than normal too. So we're short on time, but did manage to get some good data. So here are those passes now.
Draggy stars.
So basically, all of that was, even though we were on slicks, the truck just wanted to spin because the Pro Charger just makes so much power up front. Started playing with some timing retard, got improvements, but still just spinning. So even though it was still spinning and it was frustrating that we couldn't get that figured out, we did manage to get a PB on ET, which was really exciting for the truck because that's where we had kind of hoped to be at this time last year, I think. But, you know, better late than never, right? And that's kind of where we ended that Friday night. So we put the street tires, the new street tires, on the Chevy and the Mustang and managed to get some private track rental time on Wednesday night so that we could focus on figuring out the 60-foot. It was much, much needed. So here's a few of these clips now. It's race week. we decided to go ahead and rent some track time and do some testing because it is much needed. We got the car and the truck out here, so that's extremely exciting. Made our first passes just to try and figure out what is going to happen on these ET tires. The Mustang does not like those tires, so we're going to have to do a lot of messing around trying to figure that out before we really even turn the nitrous on. The truck, not so bad. It seemed to do pretty well. Tried to smoke them around 30-40 feet, so gonna pull some more timing retard and do another pass, see what it does. Hopefully we can make several passes out here tonight, get some good data, get these tires figured out because we've never been on anything like this, and make it to where we can be competitive this weekend. So let's get at it. No matter what we did, the Mustang kept blowing the tires off. So went back and decided to change the ride height this time around and see how that helped. At the end of the night, we had managed to get both the Chevy and the Mustang to make full passes. The Mustang was still pretty much blowing the tires off, but at least we were able to get a full pass down. Kind of knew what we wanted to do going into race weekend with both the Mustang and the Chevy. Really just wanted to have a good time and make an A to B pass, hopefully be competitive, while also knowing that we're probably just going to go out there and blow the tires off. But, oh well, you know, we were excited. First time really getting to go to a race and race our own stuff like this. So, yeah. Then it was race weekend. It is Friday, It is just now about 5 o'clock, so we expect people to start rolling in, and testing should start at any time. So we are going to get everything ready and just kind of wait. We don't really want to be the first down for testing. We would really like a few passes first before we go down, but we'll see what happens. Drew gets a little antsy and wants to go, so all right. At the end of the night, didn't have really good news, much improvement. Actually was going slower than we did when we were testing earlier in the week. So that was extremely frustrating. Drew managed to sit down, go over all the data that we had gotten between both test nights, started thinking, and decided to take the improvements that the Mustang made when he changed the ride height and apply that to the Chevy. He raised the rear ride height by 1 inch to try and get the tire to bite a little bit more and hopefully spin less. Unfortunately, this was after testing was done, couldn't make any more passes, so just making the changes and fingers crossed that first round it works. Day 2 is getting underway. Should be having a driver's meeting here in the next 30 minutes to an hour. Looks like there are several street cars here. Not too many big tires. Handful of small tires. Should be a lot of fun. So super exciting on race day. 13 cars in the streetcar class. We drew second and fourth pair. Chevy second pair, Mustang fourth pair. The Chevy went up against a white New Edge Mustang. And the Mustang was up against a newer body style white Mustang. So here's that. So wins for both. That was pretty exciting. Unfortunately, the computer laptop messed up with the Chevy and did not log that pass. It felt okay, but we knew that there was a ton of timing retard in it. So basically just have to go into the next round with the same tune-up and hope it's enough. The Mustang won because the other Mustang red lit, but you know, that's a win. The pass still felt pretty good, so gonna keep things the same on it and move into the next round. So round 2 chip draw. We draw pairs 1 and 2. The Mustang is first pair and the Chevy is second pair. And unfortunately, we drew our friend TJ that had come up from Louisiana. And after watching testing and just kind of knowing what his car can do, Drew and I, and along with other people, were pretty sure that TJ was going to be the clear winner of this class. But we're going to give it a good shot and hopefully it's a good drag race. Did decide to take out 50 pounds in the Mustang before this pass, but like I said, no changes to the Chevy's tune. So first pair, the Mustang raced a black Trans Am, had a good win there. The Chevy, unfortunately, did lose, as you saw. It was about a car and a half. Still not bad, because TJ is fast. So we were pretty excited that we even made it to that point with the Chevy, given the fact that we literally have just gotten this truck back together. So round 3 chip draw. The Mustang drew second pair against a all-wheel drive Ford F-150. So the all-wheel drive F-150 won. I feel like Drew 60-footed him pretty well. Drew feels like there was probably only a car or so between them at the end. So not bad. I was really happy with how the vehicles did. I think Drew was pretty happy as well. Had a pretty good night. Unfortunately, the pair right before us was TJ, and TJ broke during his burnout, which thank goodness it was before he was making his pass, but it really stinks because, like I said, we had TJ picked to win the whole thing. So ultimately, that streetcar class, the Ford F-150 all-wheel drive did win that class. Kudos to him. It's a nice truck. Really clean. I really liked it. The rest of the night went pretty great. Danny was in big tire and the small tire class, so I was running around like crazy, so trying to get both of our cars, taken care of in our class, also trying to help Danny in both of his classes, trying to video, trying to take pictures. Luckily, my mom was there and I managed to rope her into doing some pictures. Was pretty excited about having those, because when you're behind the camera all the time, you never really get any good shots of you doing anything. Overall, we had a really great first race weekend with the vehicles. We know where we need to make improvements. Drew has already been out there working on them, ordering parts. So after we had some time to come back home and take a look at things, we did find some issues with the fuel system that was affecting our tune with the Chevy. So we're going to work on getting all of that fixed, and then hopefully we'll be able to tune a little bit better on the Chevy. We won't have things working against us in that aspect. So now we just need to figure out what we want to do moving forward. We really like the streetcar classes. I feel like they're really fun. You have a wide array of people that you can race against. And there's a lot of those classes around. The problem is that the rules vary every single race, it seems like. So it makes it hard to build your car to be able to race in those. When we bought the Mustang, it was a 90s race car. We have worked since the spring to try to make this a streetable race car. Unfortunately, a lot of these streetcar classes don't really want, cars like the Mustang in it. Even though obviously, we're not a super fast car. We just want to have fun and we want to race. And we understand that there's got to be specific rules out there, because you don't want somebody coming in with a, high 4-second car and just running over everybody who can't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on their race car. But unfortunately, I kind of feel like we're stuck right now, because in order to fit these classes, it's almost like you just have to get one of these newer Mustangs, the Hellcat, the 2020 Ford trucks, and pay a bunch of money to put a whole bunch of power adders on them, and go from there. We don't really know what the right answer is and how to go about it. We're going to do some thinking. We're still going to work on making the Mustang more streetable. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's kind of crazy is the Chevy is every bit of a race car as that Mustang is. At least I feel like it. But most people look at that Chevy and they don't see race car, so they're not going to complain. I don't know if there's a right answer out there. If you have an opinion, let me know. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts about it. But ultimately, I feel like it boils down to, if your vehicle fits the rules of a class, then you can race in that class. Just like, the truck that raced in the class with us, it was all-wheel drive. A lot of people complain about all-wheel drive vehicles racing in certain classes, but guess what? It was not excluded on the rules, so he can race. He has every bit of right to race, as anybody else that fits the rules. So yeah, I also feel like that there is a difference when you talk about street car versus daily driver. absolutely daily driver needs to look like, obviously, your vehicle that you drive to work every single day. It needs to have all the seats in it. It needs to have everything in it pretty much where it came from the factory. It needs to have windshield wipers. Nowadays, it needs to have AC and heat. I know there's older vehicles that didn't come with that. So once again, that's another rule that is sometimes throwing some vehicles out because they didn't even come with that. But you do have to have those rules in order to keep the radio versus the world cars from coming to all these classes and just running over everybody just to get the money. So what it boils down to is we just want to race our cars. We want to have fun. And bracket racing is just not our jam. As I said in an early video, I do not like bracket racing. It makes me so mad and infuriated. But I know there are people that love it. It's just not what we want to do. So we'll see where this takes us. We're going to look around, see what races our vehicles fit and try and make them. Have some more fun weekends and just keep making changes. So anyways, hopefully we can see some of you all at a race in the future, and you can let me know what you think. Like I said, if you have any ideas, let me know. Just don't let that idea be spend $100,000 and buy a new car, because then Drew will be like, oh, I like what they said. Let's do that. We're not going to do that, please. Anything else? All right. So I'm tired. It's been a long couple weeks. Adios.